Can you ever break up with your girlfriend for being too nice and caring to others? Absolutely yes. Oh, I mean no, of course no one does that except an insane person. But sorry, that's not the case here. Her boyfriend actually breaks up with her for being too nice and caring. Oh. I guess there must be a reason behind that. But before we delve into the story, can just click on the like button. That act is absolutely strong enough to mend even a broken heart. I believe you did that already. Now let's get on with the story. The manga starts when we see a young and pretty lady of age 28 named Hibiki Kuga who works as a food producer in her department, and that day she seems to be in a merry mood, and that's because she has just been invited by her boyfriend for their 5th-year anniversary since they are going out. Come to think of it, that's a long time, they should be married by now. Actually, he tells her he has something important to say to her and she has to meet up with him that night at 21 hours, so she thinks he might be cooking up something related to that. Unknown to her, her young colleague who works in the same department with her, Yusa, notices her merry mood and knows immediately that her boyfriend must have said something to her. Young Yusa had a handful that day and wanted her to help out like she always did, but Kuga apologizes to him that she couldn't help out that night, she needs to meet up with her boyfriend. Yusa feels so disappointed and wears a depressed face because Kuga is the only reliable one he knows at work. Seeing his expression, Kuga decides to give him a helping hand, and that makes Yusa so happy. Overwhelmed with gratitude, Yusa bows to appreciate Kuga. Kuga at that moment begins to ponder on what her boyfriend would like to say to her. Probably he's going to propose to her since she's already around 30 and she wonders what a proposal will feel like. After a few hours, she is done helping Yusa out, she meets up with her boyfriend, the thought of the proposal still lingering in her head. Let's break up, that is the first thing her boyfriend said when she got to him. Oh my god, are you serious right now? You are shocked too, right? Kuga never expected that from him since they had been together for a long time and didn't have a fight before now. To make things worse, the only reason he gives is that she is too good-natured and that she considers helping others more important than her promise to him. After saying all that, he stands up and leaves immediately. Who breaks up with someone for being too nice? Only the silly ones, I guess. However, she received an email at that moment. One of her friends has gotten married again, and that's the 3rd one that year. Poor Kuga weeps so badly and feels left behind. When she gets to work the following day, funny enough, I thought she's not going to be at work the following day. Perhaps if I was the one, I will probably be on my bed feeling down. Anyways, she's at work already and no one will believe she had a breakup the previous day, but she tells her friend and close coworker, Ayako Sejima, who is exactly the same age as her, about the breakup. Sejima then suggests that perhaps she visits a marriage hunting party company where her friend works. Kuga has no choice but to agree so she won't die being single. Sejima then calls her friend who works there to book an appointment. Unknown to them, Yusa has been listening to their conversation and he decides he will go hunting for a partner too. He doesn't like being left behind alone. On getting to the venue, the first thing she remembers was her friend telling her to get a guy no worse than her bloody ex. Someone called out to her as senior and it turned out to be Yusa. Kuga is so surprised to see Yusa, who is just 23, there. She is impressed after hearing that he is there to find a partner for himself. Afterwards, they are instructed to have a one-on-one talk with all males or females, 3 minutes at a time. That's already a hectic task for Kuga. Later, they were asked to have a free talk with someone who draws their fancy. A young man approaches Kuga and they begin talking. While they are at it, the glass cup Yusa is holding slips off his hand and Kuga leaves the man with him to see if Yusa is okay. Unfortunately, the young man she was speaking to left and the match didn't work out in the end. This young lady just lost another boyfriend, making 2 boyfriends in a week while looking out for her colleague. Funny enough, Yusa did not make a match too, so he proposes that they have a drink together. While they are having a drink, let out her frustration about men, and then later she asks Yusa who she has her eyes on at the marriage hunt party. His answer will shock you as much as it shocks Kuga and I. He tells her it was you. Me? Yes, you, Kuga. That's absolutely shocking to Kuga as she never expects it. Yuga admits she is attracted to her because of her kindness and that she always looks out for him. He confesses that he coincidentally overheard her telling her friend that her boyfriend left her and so he stands a chance. Hearing that, Kuga go mute. She just couldn't bring herself to say anything about it, but thankfully the young man isn't expecting an answer. All she does is get herself drunk and Yuga has to take her home. Getting to her room, Yusa places her bag on the desk and prepares to get her to her bed, but she slips off on a book and then Yusa while trying to help her not to fall. They fall together with their faces facing each other so closely. Do you see that? To Yusa, that is a perfect chance he's not willing to let slip away, and so he kisses Kuga slightly at first and later passionately, even though she's reluctant at first, but she enjoys it, making her face all flushed out. Yusa sees it as a way to spoil her for her kindness to her all this while. Yusa moves down to touching her 2 small watermelons and sucks them like a baby. Kuga couldn't say no to him, and before they knew it, they made sweet love to each other. The next morning, Kuga wakes up being frustrated. She couldn't believe what she has done. Yusa teases her that she actually looks cute while enjoying it. Meanwhile, Kuga wants to pump and dump Yusa, but Yusa demands she takes responsibility, moves close to her, and at the same time demands they enjoy so many pleasures from there on. Man, you just shag your senior at work. Don't you have fear? I guess he doesn't. The following day, when Kuga arrives at work as usual and Sejima asks her about the marriage hunt, she tells her it's a failure. She couldn't bring herself to tell Sejima that she had a shag with her junior colleague on a drunken impulse after he told her he loves her after the party. Sejima then suggests she books another appointment with the marriage hunting party, but she declines, saying she already has. Have what? She doesn't know what she is talking about. Thankfully, Yusa walks up to them just in time and saves her face. He acts as if they did nothing the previous night when Sejima is there, and he talks about the marriage hunt party so casually. Kuga covers his mouth and asks him to come with her to discuss something work-related. Then, Senior Kuga tells him he has to keep what happened the previous day a secret and that she wouldn't be helping him with work anymore. Yusa seems fine with that and moves close to Kuga, resting one of his hands on the wall. Then he requests to come to her house that night in return so they could get lovey-dovey again. Kuga couldn't object to it because it all seems to her that Yusa is just a fuck buddy and she has no feelings for him. Kuga is happy when she's assigned more tasks by her boss that's going to save her from Yusa's visitation. Yusa finishes the work so quickly and also helps Kuga with her work so he could have time to go to Kuga's place, but Kuga insists that he shouldn't come to her house. Did I tell you Kuga falls for Yusa's cute smile already? Oh yes! She undoubtedly loves his smile. Just when Kuga is about to leave, Yusa grips her hand and begs her to wait, telling her how much he seriously loves her and pledges to get what he wants no matter what he has to do for it. Upon hearing such heartfelt words, Kuga is overwhelmed with emotions and Yusa knows it's another chance for him, and so he kisses her so passionately. Again, they ended up shagging real good right there in the office since she doesn't want her to come to her place. Man, Yusa knows just the right places to touch to get her in, you see that? Kuga makes commending sounds as Yusa takes her on the journey. On the other hand, Kuga wanted things to end between them because they might just end up being fuck buddies if things go on like that, but Yusa won't allow her talk as he keeps saying how he sincerely loves her and will make love to her over and over again. Kuga manages to tell him she doesn't feel the same way, but Yuga promises he will make her fall in love with him and he's being serious about it. When Kuga gets home, she wonders if she could ever fall in love with Yusa. Now, unexpectedly, in the light of that, she has to go on a business trip with Yusa the following day. Kuga is so frustrated about this, but she has no choice. Yusa on the other hand sees it as another chance to get close to her and he's quite excited about it. He asks her if he should make the booking for the trip, to which she replies yes without thinking. Up next, they embark on the journey and finally arrive at their hotel. Kuga becomes more frustrated when they get there and she realizes Yusa only booked one room, to which he responds that he is only trying to cut costs. We know that's a lie, bro. Kuga almost regretted leaving the hotel booking to him. At night, Kuga creates a boundary line between them in bed as she had decided she wouldn't lie with Yusa that night no matter what. Yusa agreed so quickly but made her promise she wouldn't complain no matter what he did to her if she entered his area. Soon after, Yusa couldn't sleep as he had stomach issues. Hearing that, Kuga becomes so restless and unintentionally crosses into his area. He reminds her of the promise and her face goes blank. Realizing she just falls for Yusa's trick, she gets agitated. Never minding that, Yusa climbs on her and tells her how much he loves her for being kind and caring to others. Confused, Kuga apologizes for being so good-natured, the reason why her ex dumped her in the first place. Yusa tells her there's nothing bad about it and he loves her for that reason. With that, Yusa ended up with another tasty meal that night. Yusa watches his sleep princess all night. The duo return from their trip and Kuga has a day off work, so she decides to do some cleaning. While still at it, a call came in from Yusa and that made her remember the night of the business trip. This time, she undoubtedly confesses that his words, which approved a part of her, helped her heart. She decides to pick the call thinking it might be urgent, then Yusa tells her to check if his charger is by accident in her bag which she used for the business trip. Kuga immediately searches for it and she is surprised to find it in the pocket she normally doesn't use. Is this young man cooking up a chance again? Without hesitation, Yusa informs her he will come for it right away. Within a few seconds, Yusa is already standing by Kuga's door and that makes Kuga suspicious of him. He tells her that it happened that he passes by the neighborhood. With a suspicious look, Kuga doesn't want to believe it's a coincidence but rather a setup. He presents a bag containing a cake to her but she declines angrily at him coming in, returning his charger to him. While they are at it, a little girl passing by with her mum comments that they are having a lover's quarrel. Yusa wonders where the girl picks up a word like that, but that little is indeed God sent to Yusa because Kuga immediately asks him to come in, seeing that they are being mistaken for a couple. Kuga in her head thinks she's going to send her away as soon as they finish eating the cake. That's not an easy task though because Yusa can be so tricky, but I think Kuga has finally made up her mind. After eating up the cake, Kuga asks Yusa to leave immediately but he demands he use her sink. This young man has a hidden agenda. While he was away, the thought of how much Yusa loves Kuga consumes her and she thinks it's already having an effect on her. She is so lost in thought that she doesn't know he is behind her, not until he gives her a hug from behind, wrapping his hands around her chest and then demands she allows her stay over that night. Kuga declines again, asking him to let go of her, but Yusa starts tickling her and wouldn't stop until she gets her to say yes. With tickling accomplished with romantic touching, Yusa accomplished his mission. And again, our young Yusa succeeded in serving himself another tasty meal. You see Kuga's face? She's enjoying the moment again. I think it's high time Kuga becomes honest with her feelings and not making it seem like the young man is taking advantage of her. The next morning, at work, Yusa is seen having a conversation with some ladies. Seeing Yusa with other ladies makes Kuga lose focus, but she is taking a coffee to calm her nerves. Yusa sees her and moves close to where she is standing. Then, he begins to tickle her right cheek with one of his fingers. How rude! Kuga thought in her mind, but she couldn't say it to him. Yusa asks why she was wearing a sad face when he looked in his direction earlier. Perhaps she was jealous, but you know Kuga won't admit that, or probably she doesn't even know what being jealous is. She quickly changes the subject and asks Yusa why he chose her out of the many ladies around there. I believe you want to know too. In response, Yusa flashes back to when he just graduated from the university and he has nothing in particular doing, and so he has to join the company for the time being. Kuga is the only one who was genuinely concerned about him and took care of him with all her heart, and so she became the reason why he's able to survive in that company as a newbie. With a cheerful smile, she corrected his mistake and encouraged him to always do his best at work. Before he knew it, he had fallen in love with her personality. I don't think I have ever seen a young man so honest with his feelings like Yusa. Yusa begins to tease her, saying her reactions are so honest and cute. Yusa even taps her head. Afterwards, 3 ladies from the other department walk up to Kuga and they seem to her like some kind of comic girl. They ask her to spare them a little of her time, which she grants. You wouldn't believe the kind of question they asked Kuga. They were like, you've been awfully close with staff member Yusa as of late. Are you going out with him? Out of shock, Kuga denies it by saying no thrice. One of the girls jokingly said an old woman who is almost 30 is not a good match for him after all. Those words got Kuga mad, and as their senior at work she warns them to behave and stop saying whatever they want. She makes it clear to them that love has nothing to do with someone's bloody age and the most important thing is the charm of the people involved. She also declares that she can make him fall for her right away and they can do nothing about it. On hearing that, the girls apologize and run away. That's what being a superior can get you, no one dares stand against you. Meanwhile, Yusa has been there all along listening to their conversation. He is super excited to hear her say age has nothing to do with love and commends her for that. Kuga again denies she only said that on a whim and there's no particular meaning to it. Now, young Yusa wants another tasty meal right now since they are done working. Wait, but must he made love with her any slight chance he got? Anyways, I think Kuga enjoys every bit of it, so it's fine. He begins his magic touch again, making Kuga feel so hot. The next day, Kuga is preparing to go to work as usual, but she heard from the weather forecasters that it's going to rain in the evening and so she has to pack a folding umbrella inside her bag. On getting to work, she saw Yusa talking to someone and when their faces met, he winked at her. Kuga wonders why he did that and so she's lost in thought, calling him a kid. Is he really a kid? She doesn't know someone is behind her, not until she taps her on the shoulder. Kuga lets out a frightening scream when Sejima places her hand on her shoulder. Sejima ignores her reaction and asks her why Yusa is winking at her. Kuga begins to stammer, not knowing what to say. Seriously ready to hear the story, Sejima proves that by dragging her out of the place. Sejima senses something must be going on between her and Yusa, so she demands an explanation from her since she didn't even talk about the business trip they went together. Meanwhile, she also feels she's distant. However, Kuga opens up to her and strangely Sejima is happy for them and she is congratulating them on their wedding already. But Kuga says they aren't going out yet and so she shouldn't get ahead of herself. Seeing her reaction, Sejima advises her to confess her feelings to Yusa since they are already joined in both body and soul, but Kuga objects saying it's embarrassing to say. As a matured mind, Sejima knows she can't force to do it but she's genuinely happy for her. Just like the weather forecasters predicted, it begins to rain in the evening when she's about to go home. She is happy she comes with her umbrella and then she decides to use the bathroom before going home. When she returns, she tries to remove her umbrella from her bag but surprisingly she can't find it. What could have taken an umbrella from her bag just now? It was then that Yusa comes to her and asks if she doesn't mind getting under his. Without hesitation, Kuga agrees and so Yusa grabs her hand and gets her under his umbrella. Confused, Kuga all of a sudden demands she check his briefcase for her umbrella and surprisingly, she finds her umbrella there. Yusa knows he got caught already, meanwhile he never returns the umbrella to her because she wants to be close with her and so he moves closer to her. Even at that, Kuga didn't feel bad about it but she got to realize just at that moment that Yusa has been scheming a lot of things in the past just to get close to her, like booking a room during their business trip and putting his charger in her bag claiming he forgets it. Yusa didn't deny any of that but funny enough this young man calls it calculating. Yusa usually does make a wicked face that is different from normal and he only shows that face to Kuga because people are often put off by it. Suddenly, Yusa's face changes again and the umbrella falls from his hand causing both of them to get soaked. He then suggests they go to the nearby hotel and warm up with each other, but wait, why does the umbrella have to fall from his hand near the hotel? Damn, young Yusa knows how to play his card correctly. Then, Yusa gets another tasty meal, this time in a bathtub. Can you take a moment to appreciate that? Afterwards, Kuga couldn't get the strange face Yusa displayed earlier off her head. The next morning Kuga came to work late due to oversleeping and all. Strangely, Yusa didn't ask for her when he normally asks of her before anyone else, and that day he didn't even find an opening to come and talk to her. This got her really worried and she thinks of a means to get to talk to him. Fortunately, she remembers he hasn't returned her umbrella from yesterday, but that won't work because Yusa left the umbrella on her desk already with a note. However, Kuga becomes restless seeing that Yusa is avoiding her. Unless this old lady about to be dumped again? I guess our Yusa will not possibly do that? Let's continue. Different thoughts linger in her head but she decides to ask him directly instead of just thinking on her own. Meanwhile, Yusa is about to leave for the canteen with his friends to have lunch before she calls out to him. Unwilling to answer, Kuga has to drag him along with her and his friends left without him. What the hell is going on? Are you avoiding me? The old lady questioned. Yusa casually replies that he isn't doing anything like that. Frustrated, Kuga begins to rant on how he hasn't come up to her since morning and now he isn't looking at her face. Again, Yusa casually replies that she must have been imagining it. Before Kuga could finish her speech, her stomach releases a loud rumbling and Yusa suggests she go have lunch. I'm such an idiot, oh not me, that was Kuga's comment at the end. After the close of business that day, their boss suggests they have drinks together and it's more like a party. Kuga decides she will drink it till the very end and it's going to be that way. After all, her young lover didn't care anymore. This old lady is in emotional pain and mentally breaking down. Like, I feel so sorry for her. It's like she's about to be dumped again. After some minutes, one of her colleagues finds her dead drunk lying on the floor. How on earth did that happen? Her boss then suggests someone has to walk her home and voluntarily Yusa said he will do that. Their boss praises him for that, not knowing he is the reason for her breakdown in the first place. Oh yeah, the boss name isn't revealed yet. Someone called a taxi man and he arrived almost immediately. This troublemaker just makes Yusa miss the drink party. Yusa allows her to lean on his shoulder in the taxi and she holds tight to his clothes, not willing to let him go. When they get home, Yusa drops her bag on the desk and before he knows what is happening, Kuga slips off and while trying to rescue her, Yusa falls on her just like the first day they come home together. Kuga's eyes widens and she thinks he is going to make love with her again, but rather Yusa carries her, not even giving her a kiss like she is expecting, and puts her in her bed. You're expecting something too, not this time. I'm confused too what's going on with Yusa. However, Yusa just wants to leave immediately and all he tells her is to take things easy and rest well. Unbelievably, Kuga opens her mouth and asks him to wait. She seriously confesses, I don't want him to bloody leave me like this. She cries out to him like a baby not to leave him. Surprisingly, Yusa ignores her and heads for the door, but Kuga quickly holds tight to him from behind. Oh my god, she's not letting him go. For the first time, Kuga tells Yusa she loves him. It's obviously because I love you, right?
Yes.
Finally, she spills those words. Upon hearing that, Yusa just smiles and says he has to trick her to get her to say those words honestly because she's not being honest and it seems she will never tell him she loves him if he doesn't do something about it. So she has to trick her by avoiding her like that. Oh really, are telling me you have been avoiding her to get her to say she loves you? Yusa is such a badass, but sincerely when you love someone you should be bold enough to say it to them, so I think she deserves that. Guys, let's continue. Though Kuga thinks the reason he has been avoiding her was due to the strange face she saw in the rain the previous day. Yusa tells her he will not avoid her over such a thing and he's not even aware he has been showing her his strange wicked face. But why did have such a wicked face despite his cuteness? I guess we'll find that out from the next chapters. So, Kuga finally becomes something precious to Yusa because she's the only one that has seen his true self, and with his cute face he gives her a charming smile which almost makes her nuts. Kuga finally admits she has become a maiden in love with Yusa even though she never realizes that until now. Immediately, a passionate kiss follows and there we go again. Yusa is a great kisser, damn. He begins touching those right places again and gets her to say to him that he wants him, and this time he made love with her so intensely that she confesses it's a bit too intense for someone like her who is around 30. Yusa is sexually aggressive and cute at the same time. She makes her weep and sweat at the same time. Afterwards, Kuga is damn tired, however Yusa deems it fit that he needs to apologize to her for being the reason for her breakup with her ex-boyfriend by him thinking too much to have her. So he feels guilty, but that's not necessary because Kuga doesn't see it that way but rather appreciates him for falling in love with her, which saves her from depression. Kuga gives him bright smile like the one I will have if you subscribe to my channel. Meanwhile, her cheerfulness was the very reason Yusa is attracted to her and she appreciates him for falling in love with her. Just then, Yusa wants another tasty meal again, but Kuga tells him she doesn't have strength for that anymore. He never minds those words because he knows where to touch to change that. Yusa was ready to continue making love with her all night long and he was like, hey senior, I will love you until the morning.